Hi everyone, hope you're having a fabulous day. My name is Kim from Umoyo and this is Umoyo Life, the health show where we talk about health, nutrition, giving you guys lots of tips and delving into interesting topics. Have you ever heard the saying, you are what you eat? Well, it turns out it's pretty true because your body actually replaces every single cell within a 7-year period. That includes your bones, okay? So your body has the ability to regenerate new bones. So essentially, every 7 years, you have a completely new body. And then you might ask, well, how does my body do this? Where does it get all the building materials from? Well, it's gonna come from the food you eat, and therefore, the quality of the food you eat is gonna be super important. And you can think of it as like if you're building a house. If you're using good, strong building materials, then the end result is that you're going to get a good, strong house that's going to withstand storms and whatever. Compared to if you're using lesser good building materials, so poor quality ones, you're skimping a little bit there, then your house is probably going to start crumbling and fall apart. Things are just not going to function as well. You're going to get leaks and whatever. And the same goes with your body. If you eat good quality foods, then your body is going to be able to withstand diseases and illness better, right? Things are going to function better than if you're supplying it with lesser building materials. So a good example of this is your cell membranes that are made predominantly of fats, of lipids, right? And firstly, yes, you need proper quantity of fat in order for your body to make these cell membranes and for the structure to be intact and for them to function. Absolutely. But it turns out the quality of the fat you're eating also plays a huge importance in whether these cell membranes actually are able to function at their best, right? Optimally, which is what we want. So if you're eating a lot of processed foods, for instance, so you're eating a lot of trans fats, or trans fats are also found in fried foods, vegetable oils, hydrogenated vegetable oils, such as margarines. Then if you're eating a lot of these kind of fats and not so much of the good fats, then your body doesn't have a choice. It'll have to incorporate the trans fats into these cell membranes because it needs the fat, right? But it turns out that the cells then can't function as optimally. And we see this in the brain. So if your cell membranes in your brain, so your neurons, have incorporated a lot of trans fatty acids, then your brain cells just can't communicate as well as they should. And this leads to lower cognitive ability. It can lead to depression, even Alzheimer's. So that's a great example of how it's not just the quantity, it's the quality of the food that matters. So what should we be eating? There's so much choice. There's so many different ways of eating. And if we read about nutrition, there's a lot of conflicting information as well. So what is true and what is not? And so many different diets out there. I mean, I know certainly for myself, I've tried many different ways of eating over the years to see what works for me. And obviously, I studied nutritional medicine, so I've read up on the subject extensively. I find it very, very interesting. But yeah, there is a lot of information out there and there is a lot of conflicting information as well. But what I have found is that there are certain fundamentals that kind of keep coming up as true again and again and again. And I've selected 4 of them that I want to share with you today. So what should we be eating? So when we look at what we should be eating, we also have to look at what we shouldn't be eating. And unfortunately, there's no 2 ways about this. If you want to be healthy, you gotta get rid of the junk. Get rid of all the processed foods. And I know it's so yummy, yes, but you gotta get rid of it. And if you get rid of all the processed foods, you're getting rid of all those trans fats, right? Well, the majority of them anyway. But remember, when food is being processed, essentially what happens is that all the good stuff gets stripped out. So your vitamins and minerals and antioxidants, they all either get stripped out or destroyed. And when that happens, the food no longer tastes very nice. So what food manufacturers notoriously do to make it taste good again is that they add sugar, salt, and fat. And that's why processed food tend to be very high in sugar, salt, and fat, or a combination of them, right? So by removing all those processed foods, you're removing a lot of the sugar, salt, and fat, but also, of course, flavorings, preservatives, a lot of chemicals that go into the foods as well. And of course, I've mentioned it already, but the most processed food of them all, sugar. I think we all know how bad sugar is for us, but sometimes we kind of ignore it, you know? Certainly for me, if you check out my videos, the No Sugar Challenge, where I went off sugar for a month and documented it, I realized how hard it actually is to get off sugar. And I didn't think I ate a lot of sugar, right? So I know it's not easy. And what shocked me is also how many different types of foods sugar has made its way into, you know? So you gotta be very discerning and definitely start reading food labels in order to get rid of as much sugar as possible. But certainly, if you start removing processed foods from your diet, a lot of the sugar will also naturally be removed from your diet. So it's a great place to start. The second top nutritional tip that I have is to eat as much as you possibly can foods as close to nature and as nature intended as possible. So eat whole foods. So what that means is, you know, for instance, here in Zambia, a lot of people eat maize meal and they tend to go for the most refined, the breakfast meal. But really, we should be eating the roller meal, the less refined, because then you also, you know, a lot of the minerals and vitamins survive and you're getting more fiber there. Same thing if you're choosing between a beautiful brown whole grain bread and white bread, you're much better off, of course, eating the whole grain one. Or if you think of a potato and potato crisp, right? Same thing. So you're trying to choose foods that are as close to what nature intended for them to be. The third nutrition tip, fundamental for good health, is really to increase the amount of vegetables that you're eating. Vegetables, you're gonna find so much nutrition in there. So the vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, which are your plant nutrients, which include a lot of antioxidants that have been found to have amazing health benefits. And we only have studied a few of them, yet there are hundreds that we know are good for us, but we haven't figured out yet how they're good for us, you know, but they're all in our plant foods, in our vegetables. So really important wherever we can to increase the amount of vegetables that we eat. A good rule of thumb is try and get like a rainbow effect on your plate. So eat vegetables with different colors, because each colored vegetable will have a very different range of these plant nutrients, these antioxidants in them. So if you try and eat a wide variety of colors, you know you're getting a very wide variety of nutrition as well. And then with regards to meat, not saying you can't eat meat, certainly you can eat meat, but you need to limit your consumption, because if you eat a lot of animal products, meat products in particular, it's going to cause a lot of inflammation, acidity in your body, and that leads to chronic illnesses in the long term. So if you're going to eat meat, just limit the amount that you're eating. Don't go overboard, certainly not every meal. And of course, choose the best quality meat that you can. So if you have access to organic, choose organic. Also choose meat from animals that have been eating their natural diet. So if we're talking about beef, for instance, if you can get grass-fed beef rather than grain-fed beef, then the quality, the nutritional content of the meat is going to be much, much greater. So wherever you can do that, do that. And then finally, be mindful about what you drink as well. So sometimes we just, we think of what we're eating, but not what we're drinking. And of course, we know sodas are not good for us. They have to go. Mainly, they have so much sugar in them. So a typical soda would have 13 teaspoons of sugar. That is huge. But in addition to that, it's also flavorings and colorings and preservatives, so you're getting a lot of chemicals in there as well. And don't think that fruit juices are the healthy choice, particularly if they're store-bought, because they've been heat treated to like preserve them so that they can stay on the shelf for months and months and months. And essentially that destroys the vitamins, the minerals that were once in there, and you're left with concentrated sugar, just as much sugar as is in a typical soda. Okay, so drink water, and then maybe flavor your water with natural flavors like lemon juice is beautiful to put in your water, or some slices of a cucumber or slices of apple flavors the water beautifully. Some people put goji berries in the water. That's also wonderful. Or what you can do is make iced tea with herbal teas. So for instance, at Umoyo, we got a beautiful tea called Red Passion. It's got hibiscus, cinnamon, and lemongrass in it. And you can just make a tea with that and then put it in the fridge, cool it down, and you got a beautiful drink, right? And you don't even have to put sugar in there. The cinnamon gives it a bit of a sweet taste. So get off the sugary drinks. Very, very important. So there you have it. My 4 top nutritional fundamental principles if you want to be healthy. And certainly these are principles that I try and live by every single day. It's not complicated, right? It's very simple, and you probably know a lot of this information already. What's tough is actually doing it, implementing it. But that's where you gotta be tough on yourself, because what you eat really does matter. You are what you eat. Wishing you all the best, guys, and I hope you go out and crush today. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. If you enjoyed the show, please share with your friends, and see you next time. Bye.